Hey everybody, I'm Katallina, and today we're here to talk about episode 9 of Oshi no Ko Season 2. While this episode did a nice job of overall wrapping up the play sequence within the story, and showing us the conclusion of various minor subplots that we've been seeing with several characters, it does definitely leave questions about where the story is going to be going as we round into the final turn for the season, and just what is going to be happening. We do get something very interesting at the end, and we will be talking about that. But let's kind of just go through some of the key things that I thought were interesting highlights as things wrapped up. One of the things that I genuinely liked about the way that this ended is that we actually see both Akane and Kana recognizing each other's talent, not in front of the other, of course, because I don't think they're ever going to do that. But each of them still feels like they have so far to go, and it seems like in their own way, each is indirectly encouraging the other, which is great because it's going to continue to make both of them want to improve as actresses, and if they are serious about their art and if they care about what's going on with it and everything, which it's pretty clear they do from how they behave, that is going to be a general boon to each of them. Would it be nice if they could actually get along and stuff? Yes, because they could add so much more to each other, but I mean, they're teenage girls, they're doing their thing, and I mean, there's no guarantee we're ever going to see that. And that is in part because I think they both like Aqua. It's also in part because from a storytelling perspective, their disagreements and their difference in how they view their art and how they view their progress actually serves as one of the conflict engines about their two characters that add to their value to the story, so can't be surprised they're not going to just knock that away. One thing I did like seeing get resolved, because I'm sure it's not going to be constantly coming up and it's okay to wrap a bow on it, was the scene where we see the person who wrote the manga and the person who wrote the script actually sitting and watching the play together, and on a seat between them were an image of the manga and the script side by side, red rose around the briar. I loved that. That absolutely warmed my heart, because there can be so much contention about whether, in some cases, like a book or a movie is better. And it's not a question of which is better, it's a question of, is the material that was used to make each of those adapted in the best way possible for the medium that it's actually being presented in? I think that's a much better question. You can absolutely have a bad adaptation of something, but at the same time, you have to recognize that what makes a good book and what makes a good movie, what makes a good TV show, what makes a good game, these all have different fundamentals, and it's finding what path is going to make the source you're using for that book, that movie, that game, that TV show appropriate. That is going to be the thing you have to work on. And from the way people reacted to the play, it seems like in the end they were successful in actually having that happen here, which was fantastic. We see a lot of talk from some of the older people talking about some of the younger people. We see a lot of commentary on idols, idol appearances, idol cuteness, who has talent for the future. And I mean, on one hand, I understand that from a business perspective, but on the other hand, there is just this fundamental creepiness about these guys sitting there and like talking about these girls in that way. I mean, I get it, it's business, but at the same time, there's just part of me that was just like, ugh. I mean, I probably didn't notice it as much in the kind of entertainment I did because I was singing at karaoke contests, I was doing charities and stuff like that. And I've never been the kind of person that would have been really in jeopardy of somebody having that kind of discussion about me. Appearance was never the forte, to be blunt. But I mean, I feel for the girls who are going through all this stuff and who may or may not be really aware of just how much of this crap there actually is. And that actually carries us into where we were by the end of this episode, where at first we were at the cast party afterwards. I've seen stuff like this happen. People go out for food after a performance in music, or when I used to do live action role playing, we would all go out and get drinks and stuff when I was in university. And like, I can like reflect on something like that and I can see that sort of thing. But to see the additional layer that we got after that, the seedy underbelly of all this crap, where the performers who just aren't making the cut are secretly going out against the wishes of their agencies and getting jobs working at bars and stuff. Like, Considering how young some of these people are, that's incredibly alarming, and it could be very easily used to be exploitative, and that definitely rings some alarm bells for me. But of course, it also brings us to the biggest revelation I feel we had during the entirety of the episode, which is what happens in the very last few minutes, where Aqua ends up talking to the other lead actor from the production. They had originally brought the director to this place. They wanted to get him drunk and they wanted him to tell them a story, but they got him over drunk. And when that happens, Aqua's like, oh, that's fine. It was really you I wanted to talk to. And he shows the other guy a DNA test. And what I think we find out at the end here, if I understood what was going on correctly, is that Aqua and Ruby and this other guy may actually be half siblings, because the father we're trying to track down may actually be the same father of this other guy that Aqua was in the production with. So that definitely makes for an interesting turn. I wonder if in the amount of episodes left, we're going to be able to successfully find out who that is, and just what is going to happen when and if Aqua does find out who that is. Is there going to be some kind of resolution? Is there going to be some situation that's going to have serious consequences? Is Aqua going to go to prison? I mean, who knows what the hell's going to go down here and just what's going to happen, because we all know that Aqua is not in a good or right place, and we see him struggling with the consequences of having done the kind of acting that he did in this episode. And while he did a fantastic series of performances and his acting is getting stronger, we know that it is taking a toll on him and that he is paying a price. We see clearly that although in the show there is this miracle and the princess survives and all this other stuff, Aqua thinking about what if he could have had that kind of miracle and I could have survived, and if there was anything he could have done to make things better. That kind of questioning, that kind of survivor's guilt is no joke. And it was really wild to see him going through it. Anyway, overall I thought this was a pretty good episode and I enjoyed it, although there was definitely a bit more fluttering around than what we've had over the last few weeks. But it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the episode, but I'd love to know what you guys are thinking, so drop a comment below and let me know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. See you later. Bye!